Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Herp Monday number 9 and we got a monster of a herp for you. This thing is big, large, in charge, not necessarily for the best reasons. Today we are talking about the cane toad. Cane toad, or scientific name Rhinella marina. It is part of the family Bufonidae. Well, Bufonidae is actually the family of true toads. There are some things out there that act like toads but are not actually considered a true toad per scientific standards. These are native to South and Central America. They really like to be in open grassland and woodlands. They really don't like super thick vegetation. It's actually kind of a deterrent for them. Because they've lived in these open grasslands, it's a little bit of a mystery as to where their common name is a marine toad. They're not really that marine in any way. At least the little research I did, I couldn't really find anything. However, these have been introduced throughout the world, and their tadpoles can handle pretty salty water. So it's not like they just cannot live in salt anyway, but they're more found in terrestrial environments. As you can see from this picture, this is a person holding a cane toad. They are a very large toad, really big toad. The females, as with the case of most amphibians, gets bigger, more specifically longer than males. They can reach about 10 to 15 centimeters, which is about 4 to 6 inches. That's kind of your average sort of thing, but your maximum is about 24 centimeters, which is about 9.5 inches. They come in a very multitude of colors. You got this kind of dark back with the gray on the sides. You got this one that's more of kind of like a greenish version. This is a young cane toad. And then you got kind of these just generalized gray tones. The skin feels really dry and warty. You can see here on these close-ups and over here that you have kind of like wartish looking skin. This young one really looks like it. And you can tell they have some ocular ridges, not super prevalent, but they do have some sort of ocular ridge. But one of the best way to identify these is the parotid glands, which these are these glands behind the eyes and over the shoulders. This is a monster gland. This is an insanely big gland. This is a young one. You can kind of see the gland here, but typically this is sort of the size of gland that you're going to see in a normal adult cane toad, not this absolute monstrosity right here. That gland is very poisonous. It's actually their main predator deterrent. They are very poisonous, which we'll get into that a little bit more. But their main source of their poison comes from this gland right here. Now, these are very prolific spawners. The females will lay about 8,000. Well, let me rephrase that. The females will lay somewhere between 8,000 and 25,000 eggs, and they lay them in a string in water, obviously. And they lay all these singular eggs in a single line. These strings can stretch up to like 20 meters long, which is about 65 feet long. They stretch up an incredible distance. Now, as is the case with most frogs and toads, they detect their prey by vision, which seems to be their main way. However, there's been plenty of research going in that they actually can detect by smell as well, which that's a little bit unique in the toad and frog world. It's not really that common. They're more for vision predators. Now, the thing about these is these eat literally everything. Just like in most frogs and toads, they do eat a lot of insects. However, they have been found to eat rodents, reptiles, other frogs and amphibians, birds. Let me rephrase that. Birds, bats. These things, if they can get their mouth around it, they will eat it, which leads into even other things that they've eaten. That's predominantly when they're found around houses and stuff. They will eat plants. They eat garbage. They will actually go up and eat garbage. And here's the last one. One reason why these have spread so far in urban environments is they can actually eat dog food or cat food. Just food, many people leave dog food or cat food outside if they have an outside pet, or that little old lady that wants to take care of all the stray cats that are around the neighborhood. Well, in places where the cane toad is, the cane toad will actually go up and eat that processed dog or cat food and survive quite well on it, which is why urbanized environments have really helped this to spread. A little fun fact about them is they don't really drink water. They absorb most, if not all, of their water through the skin on the belly. That's free water. Every time you eat something, you get water inside from just the food process, but most of their water actually comes from absorbing water through the skin on the belly, which is why they need sort of like, even though they live in open grasslands and things like that, they actually do need some sort of moisture, like dewdrops and things of that nature to absorb water. Even like moist sand would work for these. Now, going into what we were talking about before, the skin. The skin is incredibly toxic. Very, very toxic. And where these are found, there's usually a lot of problems with dogs. Dogs are really prone to licking these things, which gives them a poison. So it's very important to be cautious if you have these in your area, especially with pets. Now, there's still, even though they are poisonous, there's still plenty of things that eat them. A lot of animals just avoid those big glands here, which that's where the majority of the poison is. They can produce poison all throughout their skin, but it's predominantly right in this gland right here. Snakes, eels, rats will eat them, and rats can eat it. Crows have become really smart about eating them, but only eating around the glands. Opossums from the Americas don't seem to care about the poison at all. They just go to town, no problem whatsoever. Something interesting about it is actually the meat ants from Australia, which are like gravel ants, things like that. Sorry about that. So that's a really interesting thing. Now, there have been numerous introductions across multiple places, as we've discussed kind of earlier. But probably the most well-known introduction of this species actually comes from the introduction in Australia. Now, there was introduction of the cane toad done in Puerto Rico, which showed that the cane toad really helped control this very bad bug for sugarcane, which was called the white grub. The cane toads really ate the white grubs. They thought it was great, really helped the sugarcane crops. So they were kind of portrayed as this way to passively protect sugarcane crops from invasive grubs that would eat on the plants. However, what happened is in Australia is some toads were moved into Australia to control sugarcane pests, and it was stopped. People were like, well, it doesn't seem to be working right now. It was a very small amount. Scientists came in and they did not do their due diligence, and they said, no, the cane toad is going to be great for the Australian sugarcane. And it was a disaster. It is one of the most evident issues that is in Australia today. Just the amount of destruction that these has caused to the natural ecosystem. And the worst part about it is they didn't even control the pests of the sugarcane. It was incredibly terrible. The bugs that were eating the sugarcane in Australia, during the day, the bugs would travel to the top of the sugarcane plant. And these are nighttime predators. Or, let me rephrase that. When these were actively feeding, day or night, I can't actually remember if these eat at day or night. I want to say they eat during the day, and at night they go up. Regardless, whenever they're actively feeding, day or night, the bugs are at the top of the sugarcane plant, so they couldn't eat the adult bugs. And when the bugs would come down and they would do grubs, which that's where most of your pest control from these have come from, the cane toad actually goes dormant into their kind of like version of hibernation. So they didn't do a single bit of good for the pests for the sugarcane issues in Australia. And they just they ate other things. We explained how much these eat. They're found everywhere. They're very poisonous. They have led to mass poisonings. It's just really bad. Now, other introductions have gone well. Puerto Rico, they have been introduced into Fiji. Fiji, it's been called ecologically neutral because they do some good things and they do some bad things. And, I think Papua New Guinea, it was found to be bad, but not quite as bad as Australia. And then there's Florida. Florida has been terrible for the cane toads. But there's a lot of research out there going on the cane toad and the issues that have come from the cane toad. I encourage you to go research it. But thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you again. If I don't, please be safe. Have a great day. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you do, I would really appreciate it. Please give me a comment, something that you'd like to see. I really look forward to it. But thank you guys so much again. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. And peace.